Monique was a taxi driver in Iparanga, Sao Paulo, a neighborhood where life doesn't forgive weakness. Every day was a battle against time, rent, debt, and the constant fear of not being enough for her daughter. On this particular evening, while families across the city were decorating trees and wrapping presents, she was stuck in heavy traffic, driving her yellow cab through the rain-slicked streets, her heart heavy with guilt. Camila, her 4-year-old daughter, was staying with Dona Clemilda, their neighbor from the third floor. It wasn't ideal, but it was the only option. The eviction notice was already taped to their door. The car payment was overdue. The medicine for Camila's cough had cost nearly half of what she'd saved that month. And Christmas? Christmas was a luxury she couldn't afford. Before leaving, she knelt down and hugged her daughter tightly. "Mama will be back soon, my love," she whispered. "Promise you'll be here when Santa comes?" Camila asked, eyes wide with hope. Monique smiled, even as her chest tightened. "I promise." She knew it was a lie, but sometimes lies are the only way to protect a child's dream. As she drove, the sky darkened over Sao Paulo. Streetlights flickered on one by one, like the city was dressing up for a party she wasn't invited to. Store windows glowed with fake snow, plastic reindeer, and golden lights. Families walked hand in hand, laughing, carrying shopping bags filled with joy. Monique glanced at herself in the rearview mirror. Tired eyes, hair pulled back into a messy bun, uniform worn thin. She looked invisible, but inside, she carried a quiet strength, the kind born from years of getting up no matter how many times life knocked her down. Her app buzzed. Another ride. She accepted, without hesitation. Every star rating, every fare, mattered. One less shift could mean no roof, no food, no future. She arrived at a sleek corporate building in Faria Lima. A man in a dark suit stood under the awning, talking on his phone. He ended the call, opened the back door, and said simply, "Rua Groenlandia, please." Monique nodded, adjusted her mirror, and pulled back into traffic. At first, silence filled the car. She didn't try to make conversation. Wealthy passengers usually wanted solitude. But then he asked, "Are you rushing home too?" She hesitated, looked in the mirror. His eyes weren't cold. They were curious. "Not exactly," she said softly. "My daughter's with a neighbor. I still have work to do." He turned slightly. "So, you'd rather be with her right now?" The question hit her like a wave. Because yes, more than anything, she wanted to be there. To see Camila's face light up at the sight of presents. To hear her little voice asking endless questions. To feel her small body curled against hers under the blanket. "Yes," she admitted, almost in a whisper. "I just wish I could be with my daughter tonight." Something shifted in him. Douglas Macedo, 41, CEO of one of Brazil's largest tech companies, felt a deep ache in his chest. Those words echoed in his soul, because he knew that pain. As a child, his mother worked as a housekeeper. On Christmas Eve, she was called to clean 3 homes. He waited for her all night. When morning came, he found her asleep in the kitchen chair, exhausted. Beside her were gifts wrapped in recycled paper, a wooden toy car, a used book, a half-melted chocolate bar. "Sorry, son," she murmured. "I had to work. I wanted to give you a nice Christmas." "You did, Mom," he said, hugging her. "You're here." That night, he swore he'd build an empire. So she'd never have to work on Christmas again. So she could rest, celebrate, be happy. But when he finally succeeded, she was already sick. And what she wanted most wasn't money or power. It was just to have dinner with him on Sundays. Just his presence. She passed away 5 years ago. Cancer. And Douglas was left with a void nothing could fill. Not wealth, not applause, not luxury. Since then, every Christmas was the same. Expensive dinners, empty hotels, chilled champagne, and silence. Until tonight. "My name is Douglas," he said, breaking the quiet. "And I know exactly how you feel." Monique looked at him in the mirror, surprised. "How so?" "I once waited for someone who couldn't be with me on Christmas. And when I finally had the chance to change that, it was too late. A silence followed.
Not awkward.
Not empty. It was a silence of understanding. Two lonely souls meeting in the middle of a crowded city. "Do you have kids?" she asked. "No," he replied. "But I have a niece. And every time I see her, I think about how my mom would have loved to be with me and how I wish I'd been with her." Monique's chest tightened. She never imagined a man like him, so polished, so far from her world, could carry such human pain. They reached his destination, a luxury high-rise on Rua Groenlandia. But instead of getting out, Douglas made an offer. "I need help tonight. I can pay well. Will you spend the rest of the evening with me?" Monique froze.
Fear.
Suspicion. Years of struggle had taught her that unexpected kindness often hides danger. "I don't understand," she said firmly. "What do you want?" "Nothing inappropriate," he replied, raising his hands. "Just company. I'm alone, and I can't face another Christmas like this. I know it sounds crazy, but I'll pay 5,000 Brazilian reals for your help." Monique's breath caught. 5,000 reais. More than she earned in a month. With that, she could pay rent, clear the car debt, buy medicine, clothes, food. But it wasn't just about the money. It was about being home before midnight. About seeing Camila's eyes when she opened her gifts. "What do you want me to do?" she asked, wary. "First, we'll go shopping. Then we'll stop by your place just to drop off something special. And finally, I want to meet your daughter." Monique's blood ran cold. "Absolutely not. I'm not bringing a stranger near my child. Not for 5,000. Not for 50,000. Douglas took a breath. "You're right to be cautious. Let me prove myself." He pulled out his phone, typed quickly, and showed her the screen. A magazine article titled, "Douglas Macedo, the man who revolutionized tech in Brazil." Photos of conferences, awards, interviews. "I'm the founder of Tech Brazil. I'm not a predator. I'm just a man who has everything except family. And tonight, I heard a woman say she just wants to be with her daughter, and I saw my mother in your eyes." Monique studied the screen. Then him. There was sincerity in his voice. A sadness that felt real. "Why would you do this?" she asked. "Why care about my situation?" Douglas looked out the window. "Because I've been on the other side. My mother was a single parent too. She worked 2 jobs. Many Christmases, she couldn't be with me. And today, I feel like I can fix a piece of that past, even if it's symbolic." Silence. Monique thought. For years, she'd learned to distrust promises, gestures, men with good offers. But there was something different about him. A genuine sorrow. A quiet humility. "Let's set a code word," she suggested. "Something only I and my neighbor know. If anything feels wrong, I say the word and you leave. I stay in control." He nodded.
Fair.
"I agree." The taxi turned back toward the city center. They stopped at a mall still open late. Douglas bought everything Monique had mentioned. The talking doll, children's books, a doctor's kit, Camila's dream job, a forest puzzle, a shimmering blue dress, a new backpack. Each item was chosen with care, as if for someone precious. Then they went to a bookstore. Douglas picked up a hardcover edition of 100 Years of Solitude. "For you," he said, handing it to her. "I know you studied business administration. Maybe one day you'll go back." Monique held the book, felt its weight. This wasn't just a gift. It was recognition. Not as a driver, not as a poor mother, as a woman with dreams. Before leaving, he guided her to a women's clothing store. "Now, something for you." "I can't accept that," she said. "You can. It's part of the deal." Inside, Monique felt out of place. Elegant pieces. Price tags she'd never afford. Douglas chose a deep red dress, simple, elegant, timeless.
"Try it on," he said.
After resisting, she gave in. 20 minutes later, when she stepped out of the changing room, the transformation was striking. The dress fit perfectly. She pinned her hair up, applied lipstick she kept for special occasions. Douglas looked at her. "You're beautiful." Monique blushed, unaccustomed to praise. They returned to her apartment. 3 flights of stairs. Dona Clamilda answered, surprised. "Everything okay, girl?" she asked. I think a small Christmas miracle might be happening, Monique replied. Inside, Douglas helped decorate the tiny artificial tree with battery-powered lights, wrap gifts, arrange toys. All done in respectful silence. When Camila woke, she saw the room glowing, presents stacked beneath the tree. Santa came, she shouted, jumping out of bed. Douglas knelt to her level. Actually, I'm a friend of his. He was busy, so he asked me to help. Camila studied him. You know Santa? I do. And he told me you're a very good girl.
She grinned,
Hugged her doll, ran to show her mom. Later, as Camila slept in Douglas's arms, exhausted by joy, Monique looked at him. Why did you do this? Because someone once did it for me. And because no one should spend Christmas alone. On Christmas morning, the sky brightened with soft orange and gold. Douglas made one final offer. My company is expanding logistics. I need someone who knows the city, the routes, the reality. Someone like you. I want to offer you a paid internship, flexible hours, and daycare on-site for Camila. Monique cried. Not from sadness. From hope. That Christmas wasn't about expensive gifts. It was about connection. About dignity. About a millionaire who chose to see beyond appearances. And a mother who never gave up. If you're watching this, maybe you're in your own dark night. Remember, sometimes the miracle comes in a yellow taxi, driven by a man who decided to stop running and start feeling. Merry Christmas. And may your next year be full of second chances.